Hello, Facebook family. This is the third time I've tried to actually turn this on, and it kept on going faulty and turning off on me. So I have all this energy, and I'm excited to be here with you. And so I really want to know from you, what has you holding back? What has you holding back in your life? Not putting yourself out there, not shining your light, and hey Candace, not being the person that you know you're here to be. I'm really curious about that. So would love your comments and your posting. Hey Morgan, so good to see you. The inspiration to do these Facebook Lives really comes from a pure joy and an inspiration, and something that really feels like it's coming up in, hey Gloria, in the collective, hey Steve, and something that is just ready to be discussed. So, I love you too. Hey Michael. And so, it isn't like I don't have a schedule of, okay, it's every, whatever today is, Tuesday, I'm gonna do this. It's more of, hey, what feels alive, and what do we really need to talk about? And so when it comes to holding back, I really want to know from you where that shows up for you. Hey Marcia. Because I found that in my life, I was constantly, I was the hey Pat, I was the perfectionist. I was the person who actually wouldn't do anything unless I knew I was already going to be perfect at it. And it really, really held me back in my life from so many things. But it was the fear, the gripping fear of doing something and looking stupid, or of doing something and nobody's showing up, like the no one's coming to my party syndrome, or, just getting it wrong. I mean, there was just so much anxiety that I would have that I just wouldn't do anything that I didn't already know I was going to be good at. And that kept my world really, really small. And it kept it comfortable, but it actually wasn't ever really comfortable, right? Because it's not comfortable when you're just living in that really, really small world. And so for me, the pathway of getting free from addictions and the pathway of becoming more congruent really took me down this path of, what does it actually look like to stop holding back in my life, and to stop playing small. Here's the thing too, is that it's so fascinating, because I find that we tend to think that we are being really selfish when we are doing things like taking time for ourselves, or creating a healthy boundary, or turning someone down because we don't feel aligned with something, or whatever it is. Like, we call that selfish. But I actually think that there is nothing more selfish in the entire world than holding back your gifts, then knowing that you are here to shine your light, to help more people, to put yourself out there, to use your voice, to be authentic, and that you are holding that back because you don't feel ready yet, or you feel stupid, or you're not sure what to say. And so what I want to do today is, because that was me, by the way. I know I'm like saying this huge thing, but that really was me. I was the person who was doing that all the time, and I'm always looking for, where is that conversation still showing up for me? And so, I'm not here to create any shame or any make wrong here today. What I'm really here to do is to start a conversation, and hey Maui, and to really hear where you're at with this, and to find out, like, what are those things that have you holding back? Is it the fear of looking stupid? Is it the fear of not knowing what to say? Sometimes it's like, gosh, I want to say something, I just don't know what to say. And then we get all up in our heads, and we're not sure what to do about it. What is that thing for you? I'd love for someone to share about that, because this is the stuff that is driving us to patterns. Aloha is driving us to patterns, self-sabotaging patterns, and addictive patterns, and obsessive patterns, and keeping us in certain cycles and distraction patterns that are holding us back in every area of our lives. So if you have something that is calling you forth, but you're too afraid to do it, then what tends to happen is that the inner tension that is required to not do the thing that you know that you're here to do, or not say the thing, or not put yourself out there, or not try that big scary thing, the amount of energy that is required internally and the amount of tension that that creates inside of you is so powerful that then we want to escape from that, right? Like if you know that you're being guided to do something and you're just like, I'm not ready to do that, I don't want to do that, then somehow we have to distract ourselves from what we know we're being guided to do. And that distraction usually shows up in, let me go make something in the kitchen, or let me, hang out on Facebook for a few more hours, or let me just watch, Netflix reruns, or whatever it is, and it takes us away, and then that ends up creating more holding back in all areas. And that's what I find over time has people really feeling outside of themselves, not connected with themselves, not really connected with who they are, not trusting themselves, and not feeling authentic. And then we're walking around in the world not feeling authentic and being inauthentic to other people and feeling like a fraud and feeling like we can't just be ourselves. And it just sort of, all kind of snowballs and has a lot of us feeling stuck. And so if any of that is happening for you, or if you are relating to any of this, I'd love to hear from you. Hey, Scott. And I'd love to hear where this is showing up for you. And the tool that has been revealed to me in no longer holding back. Hey, Marty. Aw, so good to hear. So good to see your face. The tool that, well, there's a few tools, and I've talked about them on other recordings. I've talked about some of these other ones on other Facebook Lives, where it's the fail forward fast, it's the dive in, it's the puke factor of just, pressing the play button and just going for it, and knowing that as the moment that you just dive in, you actually get the very power that's going to carry you through. It's all the anxiety and all the stuff that happens while you're still standing on the diving board. That's the worst part. But the moment that you actually take the leap, you're provided, the universe meets you with everything that you need, and you actually are able to stop holding back because you're already in the free fall of it. It's just like the universe supports you in that. So that's the one part of it. But there's this huge piece that recently became really clear to me that I want to share with you. Because what I hear a lot from folks, and this was me as well, was this feeling like we're playing small. And I don't know if you relate to feeling like you are playing small, or you have played small, or maybe you played a lot smaller in the past, but you still feel like there's a way that you are playing small today. And then there's this comparison, this comparison that is so easy to make, of looking at where other people are or where you perceive yourself to be. And it's like, okay, well, I'm here now and I should be here. I should be contributing here. I should be playing here. I should be doing this. Hey, Cheryl. And so there's this perception of where you are and perception of where you think you should be. And all of that creates this feeling of shame and of, I'm just not, I'm not being the person that I'm here to be. And so what I would do, hey, Shannon and Alan, what I would do, and I don't know if anybody else would do this, but I would project that, okay, for me to stop putting myself out there, and then I would create I need to be, oh, hi, babe, I need to be like Marianne Williamson, going out and, creating all this stuff. I need to be, this person that I'm seeing that's all the way, maybe way further along in their career doing this big fancy thing, or I need to be the person that is creating this big online launch, or I need to be doing this thing with my website, or I need to be creating this, whatever it is. We kind of create this grandiose notion of what no longer playing small is. And I know that I'm guilty of that, and I certainly that became one of the very things that became an albatross around my neck. It became one of the very things that had me continuing to hold back and play even smaller and get all in that perfectionist mode and get all in the procrastination mode, because I was creating this expectation of what no longer playing small needed to look like. And I need to go and I need to have 100-person event. I need to show up and do all these big, fancy, sexy things. And what I've realized, the gift that I want to share and impart today is that it's not about going from playing small to playing big, right? It's from going from playing small to starting small. Playing small to starting small. And what does that mean? What does that mean? Can I turn on my Facebook Live and be talking to nobody or one person? Can I just be sharing from my heart, because that is the thing that is the congruent expression in the moment? Can I have an event and 2 people show up? And can I give everything that I've got to those 2 people? Can I start a program and I've got 1 client? And can I give everything that I have to that 1 person? Can I start small? This is such an underrated quality. Hey, Matt, this is such an underrated way to live, and yet it is so powerful. Because if I can meet myself in that, if I can be okay starting small, just being me, being authentic with that, giving my heart into it, and getting over all of these preconceived notions of who I think I'm supposed to be, hey Amanda, and how I think it's supposed to be, if I can just show up in that as me, and not fear that I'm not enough, but that I'm just more than enough. That me showing up authentically and wanting to share my heart, even if I'm stumbling through the words, hey Jerome, even if I'm not even sure what it's going to look like, but just that deep, deep desire, can I just start small with that? And can I make the impact? And it doesn't even have to be an impact with another person, but the impact of, can I just show up for me in this? Can I just do something for who I get to be on the other side of walking through that thing that I thought was so, so scary and so, so big, and I was so concerned about what all of you were going to think, and I thought it was going to be stupid, and I thought no one was going to show up, and all these preconceived ideas, and yet I didn't do it for you. I did it for me. I did it for me because I'm willing to start small. I'm willing to just take that one first step and be all of me in that. And then receive whatever gifts the universe have on the other side of that. Because as I'm willing to go from playing small, which is really, let's face it, playing small is super selfish. And it's our perfectionist and our procrastinator are having a field day and they're doing their thing. Hey, Christy. And that's the world of playing small. And we can say it's living in your comfort zone, but like I said, there's nothing comfortable about living in your comfort zone. It's familiar, but it feels stifling. It feels strangling. It feels like you're holding yourself back. And in order to stay in that, you have to check out in some kind of way. You have to take yourself out. You have to get involved in some kind of distraction pattern or some kind of addiction pattern. You have to, because it's so uncomfortable to not be the person that you know you're here to be and do the things that you know you're here to do. It's just too much. And so we can go from playing small to just starting small in whatever way that looks for you. Whether that's starting small in your business, or whether that's starting small in just wanting to grow, wanting to expand who you are. I'd love to hear from you what starting small could look like for you today. And allow that to be your inspiration. Allow the genuine, authentic expression of you just saying, hey, I'm here. I'm just willing to show up. And if there's one person or if there's no people, I'm willing to just do that thing. I had a girlfriend a couple months ago. I was in tears because I said, I've got all of this passion and all of this inspiration that's just pouring through me, and so much that I want to teach, and I don't even know what medium to put it into. I don't know what to do with it. And she said, who cares? Just start recording something. Who cares? I'm like, I don't even know who I'm talking to. She's like, who cares? Just start putting it out there. Just start doing that. Hey, Joshua, absolutely. Thank you for being here. Just start. And I did. And it felt so good to allow that to start to come through. I didn't know who it was for, and it didn't matter, because I was finally doing something that felt congruent, that was in my heart to do. So for you today, maybe it's having a Facebook Live. For you today, maybe it's just recording a video in the privacy of your own home. For you today, maybe it's writing a new blog, or maybe it's just sharing an authentic post on Facebook, or anything. Gosh, there are just so many ways that we can just take that tiny little step and just be willing to start small with it, and then trust and be available for things to grow from there. And what's so beautiful is that when we go from playing small to starting small, then we actually grow this really beautiful foundation that we continue to build upon. It can be really jarring if you go from playing small to all of a sudden being this overnight success, where now all of a sudden it doesn't feel grounded, and you're actually not sure how to sustain it, and you don't know what to do with yourself, and that's where that imposter syndrome can come in. But if you know that you have put in the blood, sweat, and tears, you've shown up, you've had, hey Tony, you've had the nervousness come up, and you've shown up anyway inside of that, and you start to build that inner trust, that inner courage. These are the qualities, hey Sarah, these are the qualities that start to really, really support us in being able to be the people that we're here to be. So we no longer need to project who we want to be in the world, because we're actually just showing up as the very thing. That us moving beyond that playing small mode simply puts us into the state of being that we were wanting to achieve the whole time. And so, again, I would love to hear from you if this theme of holding back, where that shows up for you, and if you relate to this idea, gosh, I thought that being selfish was me taking time for me. I thought that being selfish was when I create a healthy boundary, or when I tell someone, no, I can't do that, or I'm too tired, or whatever that is. Like, I thought that was selfish. But really, the selfish thing is me sitting here thinking, I don't have anything to offer. I don't know what to say. I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to look bad. What if no one listens? What if no one shows up? That is so, it's heartbreaking. I know that feeling. I know that feeling of sitting there and it actually feels like you're choking yourself. Hey, Jessie, it feels like you're choking yourself. Yeah, Tony, the key is to know nothing more needs to be added. You are already here. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And with being already here, how can we put ourselves out there? How can we share that with others? Because, we know, we're connected with people all over the world. Each one of us is. And at the end of the day, what are we all wanting? We're all wanting to know that we belong. Hey, Jessie. And we're wanting to connect with each other. We're wanting to know that we're not alone. And what better way to do that than to just be able to be authentically you and just start small wherever you are. What a beautiful gift that is. What a beautiful, beautiful gift that is. And I'm telling you that if you're somebody who wants more freedom from addictions and self-sabotaging patterns, and you want to get over your inner perfectionist, and you want to stop procrastinating and stop the obsessive stuff and just all those distraction patterns that are getting in the way of you being you, I'm telling you that this has just worked. This works. And it's not the easiest thing to do. And it does definitely, it takes a huge dose of humility. You know, hey Kim, aw, good to see you. It takes a huge dose of humility and to be willing to just show up and be you. And just be you. I want all of you to be all of you. And I want to share all of me with all of you. Hey, Howard and Carolyn. It's so nice to see everybody. I would love for people to actually share. And hey, Sarah. Oh my gosh, it's just so beautiful. I'd really, really love to hear, you know, and if you're somebody who used to hold back more and now you're somebody who doesn't hold back so much anymore, if you're somebody who really used to kind of play out that I'm being selfish when I'm taking care of myself kind of thing, and now you really see that the more selfish thing is for you to not share your gifts, to not just show up and be willing to fuck up and just have the courage to say, hey, I'm here, and whether there's one person or there's 1,000 people or there's no people, I'm here to share the gifts that are pouring through me, because I'm here to be the person that the universe, that the divine would have me be. And to not be that is actually more painful. You know, that Anais Nin quote, and the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. What is that for you? How painful are you needing it to be before you're willing to risk blossoming? And what is the potential upside of when you actually get to blossom? Hey, Chris. Yes, suffering does bring about your authenticity. It absolutely does. Yes. Yes, it's humble. It's just, I know I use this word a lot because I need to, because I have, my pride is just, loves to take, you know, to have the better of me, really. And I can get filled with a lot of beliefs about what I think I need to be and do. Anderson, I believe I'm spiritually awake now, nearly free from addictions. Awesome. That is so amazing. You know, yeah, I talk to so many folks, and it's like 80% of their life is pretty great. You know, they're free from a ton of stuff, and really, you know, it's oftentimes that 20%. It's that 20% that is still eluding us. It's that 20% that we're holding back in our lives. It's that 20% that we're playing small. It's that 20% that we're living in distraction patterns, and yet that 20% starts to taint and color the rest of the 80%. You know, and so it's worth just having a look at, illuminating that part and just seeing, gosh, what is the opportunity here, and what am I being called to do, and what's very upsetting to see. Oh, what's upsetting to see, Anderson. Yeah, you know, it's all of it. What we're talking about today is just, it's an opportunity. What's this? It's ego that blinds our true nature. Yeah, and you know what? It is ego that blinds our true nature. But you know, I also find that our ego conversation is really like the leaping off point. I mean, my ego is what brings up all of these fears, this fear of looking stupid, this fear of being wrong, this fear of what you might think of me. And that all comes up, and then I get this beautiful opportunity to do something different with it. And it's at that point that I have this choice to make. And the choice really is what we're talking about here today. You know, am I going to continue to hold back and play small? And what is that actually doing to my spirit? What is that doing to my physiology? What is that doing to my relationships? What is that doing to my finances? What is that doing to my career when I'm doing that? And how is that truly affecting me? That feeling of being inauthentic, of not fully being me. How am I abandoning myself when I'm actually holding back? So it's not even just, not sharing my gifts with others, but how is it a self-abandonment? And what are the repercussions of the way that I self-abandon? That is part of a really, really large conversation that spills into my deep passion to help folks become more congruent, because I really see how this self-abandonment, this disconnection from ourselves, this alienation that we have from ourselves really, really sets us up for walking through life just not feeling like we're living it. Walking through life feeling like we're waiting to live, we're preparing to live. And holding back can be very much like that. Yes, God definitely does live in us, absolutely. Holding back can feel like that feeling of waiting to live. And so if any of that's happening for you, I invite you, if this inspires you today, to get out there and to just be willing to start small with whatever that is. And maybe it's just being honest with yourself today. Maybe that's where you start small. Maybe it is being genuine with another person. Maybe starting small is picking up the phone and making one phone call that feels uncomfortable. Hey, Diane. Yeah. So all of this is so, so beautiful. I just want to say that if you are somebody who is feeling like you're being a hypocrite, if you feel like you're being a fraud, if you know that you are here to shine your light and you are not doing it, hey Chris, and you're not doing it, and it's feeling like it's creating this internal tension inside of you, hey Steve, I am just going to invite you to do something different right here, right now. Do it for you. Do it for the people that you are here to help. Because I can tell you right now that there are souls in the world who need your unique medicine. They are waiting for you to come alive, to come online, to stop playing small and to start to shine. And I did not mean to rhyme, which I just did again. Don't ask me to repeat that, but I think something in there just rhymed. And please, 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 get out there and do that, because if we can all just turn up the volume a little bit on our willingness to stop holding back and to being all of ourselves, to showing up and to truly being ourselves, then oh my goodness, what can happen? What can happen at the collective level? What can happen globally? And what can happen for the lives of the people that you are here to help? So I want you just to imagine all those people who you are here to light up. And just imagine their hearts, imagine their smiles, imagine all of the people whose lives they are going to be able to touch and to connect with, because you are being you, and because you are willing to do the thing that felt really uncomfortable, but you're willing to do it anyway. And just by you doing it, you actually become the permission slip for them to do the same. That's how we do it. We lead through transparency, and we get to just be the thing, and then that inspires somebody else to do the same thing. And if any of what I shared today inspires you, hey Salam, good to see you. Salam, Salam, listen to me. Salam, good to see you. If any of that inspires you, I would just, I would love to just, you don't need to tell me, I don't need to know, but I would love for you just to pay that forward. That would be the most amazing thing. Hey Danny, just pay it forward with the people that you know that you're here to pay it forward with. And if you're not sure who you're here to pay it forward with, you're not even sure what your purpose is, then just be willing to start small with one tiny thing, and it will take you to the next tiny thing, and this is how it's going to work, and this is how it's going to work for all of us. So thank you so much for taking this time out, for spending it with me. I hope there were some nuggets in there that really were of value to you, and I'm just sending you so, so much love. Oh, thank you for making the sun shine, Tony. Thank you. I appreciate it. I love you all, and I will connect with you when the time lines up again. Bye-bye. Mwah.